Against conventional wisdom, GX did not kill the GOAT format, as the GX set The Lost Millennium is contained within it. Instead, I surmise that the cybernetic revolution killed the GOAT. In specific, Cyber Dragon was an enormous leap in power. Time for some coinage. Power creep is a pretty common term talking about the gradual increase in strength of cards over time. I'm going to be a bit more specific and label comparable increases as linear power creep, going from Beautiful Headhuntress to Neo the Magical Swordsman to Lojin the Mystic Genie of the Lamp to Gemini Elf. Then finally, Gene Warped Warwolf were released sequentially, each pushing the level 4 attack points power ceiling by 100 points. We can also see linear power creep in cards like Hane Hane and Penguin Soldier, as the effects are mathematically comparable. But what about cards like Mirage Dragon and Dodger Dragon? There is a comparison to be made, but Dodger Dragon isn't necessarily superior 100% of the time. It gets even messier when we throw in Denko Sekka. For now, I'm going to leave this as non-linear power creep. But what about when a card fundamentally changes the way the game is played, with an immediate impact, and oftentimes defining entire formats? Cards like Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, Dark-Armed Dragon, Darkstrike Fighter, Goyo Guardian, or, the subject of this video, Cyber Dragon. Let's take a closer look. Cyber Dragon is a level 5 machine type light attribute monster with 2100 attack and 1600 defense. With the most recent rules text reading, if only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. As a 1 tribute monster, it is far below average, but the intent is to never normal summon it. The inherent special summon serves 2 purposes. The first is to help palliate the problem of having a high-level card stranded in hand, and the second to offer a catch-up mechanic for when your opponent is ahead in board presence. It succeeds in both design goals, too well even. Cards like 100-Footed Horror, Fusilier Dragon, the Dual Mode Beast, and Beast King Barbaros circumvent the problem of having a high-level monster stranded in hand by having the option to normal summon themselves as weak monsters. This modality allows the cards to be more flexible, and the high original stats of the monsters allows synergy with skill drain, oftentimes resulting in a rather large tempo push. Then there is the Tricky, which exchanges card advantage for tempo, but none of those monsters are on par with Cyber Dragon. The second objective is to function as a catch-up card, which is an area of Yu-Gi-Oh! That is remarkably difficult to balance. When undertuned, the card is not worth playing, and when overtuned, the game becomes too swingy. Catch-up cards is a topic to tackle in more detail later, but let's look at a few more cards. Power Invader is a 5Ds card, and is fairly similar to Cyber Dragon, allowing itself to be normal summoned without tribute if you are behind in board presence. But it still requires the once per turn normal summon. I think the closest card to compare to Cyber Dragon is the Fiend Mega Cyber, which came out a few sets earlier. This card is a little obscure and generally underrated in my opinion. It is a level 6 Dark Warrior with 2200 attack, 1200 defense, and has the effect if your opponent controls at least 2 more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. Again, we see the inherent special summoning effect, this time looking for a deficit of 2 or more monsters on board, which is a significant change, since it means that you may have 1 or more monsters on your side of the field and still be able to special summon the Fiend Mega Cyber. Just 1 monster makes all the difference though. In a format which normal summoning or setting a monster is a decent turn, the Fiend Mega Cyber becomes inconsistent, and GOAT, as well as a large portion of GX, was defined by normal summon formats. If your opponent normal summons a Gemini Elf, you then special summon Cyber Dragon, as well as normal summon a monster of your own. You attack over the Gemini Elf, then attack directly with your second monster. you have immediately swung tempo into your favor, pushed some battle damage, and maintained card advantage. The Tricky would lose you card advantage, and Power Invader would lead to you only having one monster on board, while Cyber Dragon accomplishes more for no cost. It can be said that the Cyber Dragon is the unnatural evolution of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, with the similar fusion and named signature attacks. But when it comes to ace monsters, Cyber Dragon is a power leap past the Dual Monsters era.